Hi, boys and girls. I'm going to read you the storybook, and it's called The Tub People by Pam Conrad. Illustration by Richard Yudzinski. Let's begin the story. The tub people stood in a line all day on the edge of the bathtub. There were 7 of them, and they always stood in the same order: the father, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, the child, and the dog. They were made out of wood, and their faces were very plain. They could smile or frown or cry or laugh. Sometimes they would even wink at each other, but it hardly showed. So there's the tub people. The father, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, the child, and the dog. And they're by the bathtub, boys and girls. That's really cool. The father of the tub people liked to play sea captain. He would take the mother, the grandmother, and the child for a ride on the floating soap. The others stood on the edge of the tub and waved. Once in a while, the child of the tub people would slide off the soap into the warm bath. "Help! Help!" The captain would rescue him. "We're coming! We're coming!" The policeman and the doctor liked to have water races, bobbing from one end of the tub to the other. The child would cheer. The grandmother would say, "Hush! You're very noisy." When bath time was over, the tub people always lined up along the edge of the bathtub. The father, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, the child, and the dog. So look, they're swimming. They're trying to save a child from drowning in the bathtub. And they're on top of soap. That looks really funny. And the policeman and the doctor are having a race. Who will win? I think the doctor, because he's in front of the policeman. I think the policeman is very slow. Alright. But one evening, the bathwater began rushing down the drain before they were lined up, pulling all the tub people this way and that. The soap danced over to the drain, turning and turning at the top of a whirlpool. Standing on the soap, getting dizzier and dizzier, was the child of the tub people. "Help! Help!" But this time his father could not save him. Uh-oh. The drain is now pulling in the child and all the water. And look, everybody is in. So let's see. And he's asking for help from his father, but the father couldn't save him. So let's see what happened next. And the tub child disappeared down the drain without a sound. So there goes the child. He's going down the drain, and nobody couldn't save him. Look at Grandma. She looks really funny. And Charlie's like really upside down. He's like, "Oh, I need help. Someone help me, please. Rescue me." But I guess they couldn't. Let's see. The tub mother pressed her face to the grating. She looked and looked for her tub child, but she could not see him. There's the mother. She's trying to look and look for her child, but she could not see him. Oh, that's very sad. She's trying to find her child. Let's see what happens next. Later that night, the tub people lined up on the edge of the tub, just the 6 of them. The soap was soft and back in as it hung from the faucet. The tub people felt very sad. So now the people, they look very sad because only 6 of them now. So the child is gone. He's stuck in the drain. So let's see what happens next. The next night, the 6 tub people climbed onto the washcloth raft. They called and called for their tub child. Of course, they knew exactly where their child had gone, but somehow they felt comforted by calling for him. Honey, where are you? Come home now! Please come back! But he did not answer. Every evening, the tub people continued to float into the bathwater, but in time they stopped calling, and they never winked at each other anymore. So they're calling him. They're trying to call him, and he's not answering because he's already in the drain. So now, what are they gonna do next, boys and girls? Let's see. Then an unusual thing happened. The bathwater began going down the drain slower and slower. Big people came and peered into the tub. What is the matter with the tub drain? They asked. They filled the room with deep voices and blocked the light. What is the matter with the tub drain? The tub people stood woodenly in their line. If they could have spoken, they would have shouted out what a terrible drain that was, and how it had sucked away their little tub child. But they were silent. Oh, so I guess they're going in. There's a tub child. He's stuck in there. I'm telling you, he's stuck in the drain. And I guess they're all silent because they couldn't hear him. Let's see what's happened next. That afternoon, a big man came and pried off the drain cover. Running as he worked, he shone a light down the glad it up and down, up and down. Down the drain and frowned. Then he pushed in a long wire and jiggled it up and down, up and down, up and down. Come home now, the grandmother whispered. Come home now. And out of the drain popped the little tub child, wet. Look at the little tub child. He's been pulled out of the drain. A big man came and got him out. Look at that tub child. He looks like he's about to fly. And the tub people stood in a line, quietly watching one by one. They smiled. The father, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, and the dog. And the tub mother had little soapy tears running down her wooden cheeks. But the big man did not look at them. He tossed the tub child into his toolbox, shut it with a click, and left. The tub people waited for bathing, hoping that their tub child would come back. But bath time never came. It grew later and later, and still they waited, worrying all the while. So he got him out, but now he's in his toolbox. And everybody has been waiting to see the child, but now he's in the man's toolbox. Let's see what happens next. Finally, when they felt like they could wait no longer, they were lifted up and carefully carried into a new room and gently placed on a large, soft bed. It seemed just like the water to them, except that it was dry and very firm. And there were 7 of them. Once again, the tub dog knocked his little wooden head against the tub child's head, and very quietly they all laughed. So now on top of a comfy bed, and the child is back. And look at the mama, she's happy. And the father is happy too. Everybody's happy to see the child back with them. So let's see what happens next. Aww. Here it goes. There was a thick quilt on the bed, and when it was all bunched up, they would go mountain climbing. The father liked to be the leader, and he would lead them up one side of the mountain, and then they would all tumble easily down the other. The grandmother liked to hide under the pillow and have everyone come find her. The tub child liked to fall off the edge and have his father rescue him. Aww, his father rescue him. And the grandmother's hiding in the bed. Oh, yeah. But look at that, that's so wonderful. The father with his child, and the mother, she's there. And the dog, who's there too. Let's see what happens next. That's so cute. Each night, when the lights went out, they lined up along the windowsill. Just as they had along the bathtub edge, the father, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, and the child and the dog were all watching the moon by the windowsill. Look at how beautiful that is, boys and girls. They're standing by the window, and look at that moon. How beautiful that moonlight is. And how gorgeous it is. And everybody's standing right there. The tub people. They're standing by the window and also the dog. And that's a beautiful view. But each morning, when the sun came shining in on them, something would be different. The tub child would be standing between the tub mother and the tub father, their sides barely touching, and if you looked very, very closely, you would see they all had smiles on their small wooden faces. And look, they all have smiles, boys and girls. They all look happy. The father, the child, the mother, the grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, and the dog. And they all look really happy because the child is back with them. And that is the end of our story for today. Well, everything matters, right, boys and girls? Just like me with my puppets. Come on, Carmen. And Mr. Crow. They're being very lazy. Hello. Hello. So what did we learn about the story of the tub people? We learned that it's better to stick together. Yeah, and always be with each other. You're right, Carmen, and you're right, Mr. Crow. So what happened at the beginning of the story? Well, they're all standing at the edge of the bathtub, and they love bath time. That's their favorite. But what was the problem? Well, they were playing against, and they were playing again in the water. Yes, the bathtub the boy was standing in the water. Yes, he was. Who else was there? Well, it was the boy. No, start off with the father, the mother, the child, the doctor, the policeman, and the dog, and the father. And they were playing rescue missions in the bath. Yeah, the boy was yelling, "Help me! Help me!" Well, when the bathtime was over, they couldn't help him. He was drained all the way down. Yes, and he disappeared and nobody could save him. He was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! And he was stuck in the drain of the bathtub. He was really stuck, huh? Yes, he was really stuck. Yes, indeed. Was anyone, calling him? Everybody was calling him, but They didn't get no answer at all from him. It was very quiet and silent. And they were all pretty sad. But what happened the next day? Well, a big man came in and he had his tools, his box of tools, and he pulled the boy out of the drain with his tools. And where was everybody? They were all put on the soft bed and the boy with them too. Yeah, everybody was happy. Even the mother was happy. The father was happy. The grandmother, the doctor, the policeman, and the dog. They were all really happy to see the little child back. Yes, because it's no good being stuck in the drain all alone in the dark. It is scary. That's why you gotta watch out where you're playing at, boys and girls, okay? Remember that. But what happened, what were they doing on the bed? That's a good question. What were they doing on the bed? Well, the father was trying to be a leader, trying to climb up a mountain, which he was pretending, on the bed, on the sheets. And he was climbing like the leader, up with everybody behind him. Yes, and Grandma was trying to hide from everyone because she wanted everyone to find her. And the boy, he threw himself off the sheets. And this, and the father saying, rescue him. Oh, thank you, Daddy. I love you. Mwah. Hey, silly Mr. Crow. Sorry, Daddy. Mr. Crow. Okay, so another question. Was everybody happy to back to normal? Yes, everybody was happy with their lives. They were standing by the window with a beautiful view of the moonlight. And it was so beautiful. And everybody was happy being together, well organized with each other. Either way, they were both wooden people. But they were always happy and loved to be with each other. Right? Right. And when the sun rised in the morning and the light hit them, were they smiling? Yes, they were. They were really happy. Yeah, they were really happy, like cucaracha happy. Ah, Mr. Carman, don't be silly again. Okay. Cheesy. Hi, Miss Carmen. They were all smiling, by the way, boys and girls. And the mother, the father, and the child, they were really close to each other. And everybody was close to each other, and they were smiling. Yeah, they were smiling because they're back together again. And that was the end of the story. Well, a very good lesson for boys and girls to learn is you need to watch out where you're playing. Right, boys and girls? Yes, you're right, Mr. Crow. What happens if you play in the middle of the street? You could get hit by a car, right? Yes! You are correct, Carmen. That's why you need to play in your yard or at the park. But also watch out for strangers, okay, boys and girls? Yes, and you gotta be careful, okay? And stay safe. And don't get lost, just like the little boy who was lost in the drain. Yes. So, boys and girls, remember, play safe, play fair, be nice, and also be careful and don't play with strangers, and also stay with family and with your parents, okay? Yes. You gotta stay with your family because you don't want to stay with a stranger that doesn't know you, right? Yes, you're right, Carmen. Thank you, Mr. Crow. Well, you guys, did a good job giving the boys and girls a good advice, right? Yes, a cheesy advice. A cucaracha advice. Okay, you're hungry and you are being funny. That's why I love you guys. We love you too. Me too. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. And be careful. And also, watch out when you're playing, okay? Alright. And watch out for strangers, too. Good night, everybody. Time to get some farts? No, Carmen! No. Okay, no. You gotta be silly. Good night. Okay. Thank God he didn't see us, Carmen. I just saw you guys. Good night. And they're being very silly, like always. But they always have each other's back. And remember, boys and girls, what they said is, you gotta be careful, okay? Don't don't play in dangerous places, alright? Don't play with strangers either. And also, stay with your family, your loved ones. Don't play in the middle of the street. If someone driving a car really fast, get out of the way. Okay? Stay on the sidewalk, stay in your yard, stay in your property, so you can have fun and play with your family, but don't let any stranger play with you. Okay? And you gotta stay with an adult. Your family. Your family member. Alright, good night, everybody. Love you all. Stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I miss you all. Have a nice night. Masalama. Buenas noches. Good night.